Well, salutations, fellow idiots. Welcome back to yet another episode of that full moon madness, baby. So we're kicking back, killing off the last of that bottle of EW, and we're going to be taking a look at some full moon grips from the 4th of July sale that I participated in a while back. I guess you could call these some full moon Freedumb flicks, baby. This is going to be a much shorter pickup special than ones that we've done recently. We only have about 6 films to show you, 3 of which are just loose ends from our previous order. We got a full moon resin statue to take a look at, as well as some apparel. And then we're going to run a featured trailer for you guys. So it should be nice, compact, watchable little pickup segment for you guys to bring us over the midway hump of our current wave of reviews. If I don't crack on too much of a buzz, we might bang out that Mandroid review as soon as we got this going up onto the channel. So lots of cool content coming. This should be our last wave back here in the office, I guess we could call it. Taking the final steps in the coming week to put together the full moon room, so we'll have our own little dedicated studio for this show, and it's gonna be a rad fucking time. Cannot wait to unveil that with you guys. So without wasting any more time, let's jump into the shit. So as is the case whenever possible on this show, all of our swoops come straight from the source at fullmoondirect.com, where you can buy movies, merch, and much more. Now, I'm not saying you should start paying me for plugging that crap on an almost constant basis, Charlie, but you should at least consider getting me the money for the refunds that I'm owed for. Sons of bitches are sitting on like $45 of my money, and I'd like to see it back at some point. So, you know, just an idea. That aside, the first film in our stack here is a proto-full moon flick from the Charlie Band production days. It's one that is frequently found inside random, like, Mill Creek 50 movie sci-fi collections. And that is End of the World. I'm pretty sure I saw this once, like, back in the day, probably with a healthy buzz on, via one of those aforementioned Mill Creek collections. The only thing I really remember from it is Christopher Lee being involved and this smooth-headed alien motherfucker that it shows on the back here. But I'm very much looking forward to checking it out again. Basic gist of it appears to be that this doctor guy, like, picks up these strange signals from space. They seem to be predicting natural disasters. Him and his wife decide to look into it, and they end up taken captive at a convent that's been overran by aliens. So there is a possibility there might be some alien nuns in this bitch, and I'm absolutely sold on that. So very much looking forward to checking this out again. Now, if memory serves, Christopher Lee was actually lied to about the actual quality of the production that he's participating in, so he thought that he was in a much better movie. And I assume he eventually saw the finished product and probably never worked with Charles Band again, which I can understand, but I also find that fucking hilarious. Anyway, moving on, we got some more sci-fi grips here. That's kind of the theme of, you know, the main swoops that I grabbed in this batch outside of our loose ends. First up, we got Beach Babes from Beyond. The director's cut, I believe it is a digitally remastered edition. And basic gist of it seems like, you know, these space babes crash land on Earth. They meet some hunky boys, and some beach-based hijinks ensues. Just one of those softcore sex comedies, you know? It's mostly notable for having a bunch of adjacently famous people in it, so like relatives of actually famous people. We've got Joe Estevez, Don Swayze, Joey Travolta, and Jacqueline Stallone. As an added bonus, we also got Burt Ward from fucking Batman and Robin, and Linnea Quigley, so pretty stacked cast. Seems like a good time. Very much looking forward to checking it out, along with its sequel here, Beach Babes 2, Cave Girl Island. It's primitive paradise. Seems like it's basically along the same lines as the first one, only they either crash land on Earth in the past, or like some type of cave planet, and they hook up with some hunky cave boys. Can never go wrong with prehistoric shit and scantily clad women. And then closing out our main grips here with our final sexy sci-fi showcase, we've got one of the brand spanking new Deadly 10 films, and probably my favorite of the batch that they've put out so far, and that is Femalian Cosmic Crush. This is sort of a reboot of a series that they did back in the day on, I believe, the Surrender Cinema label. It was, you know, softcore, like, sci-fi flicks or whatever. And I absolutely love this film, man. It's top tier full moon shit as far as I'm concerned. You know, it basically is just a sleazy, slimy, softcore sci-fi romp. You got Kira Noir, who some of you guys might know from other areas of the internet, and she absolutely kills it in this. I think that's what mainly sold me on the movie, is I was familiar with her other work, and I was very surprised to see how hard she went for it in this movie, you know. Actually, I'd go as far as to say her performance is the best one of the entire bunch, and I think some of these other girls had done legitimate movies before. So she really came in there and knocked it out of the park, in my opinion. I really hope that she continues to pursue a career in legitimate film, and I really hope that they add more to the Femalian franchise. I desperately need to get the first 2 movies that they did, along with, like, I think they're called Virtual Encounters or something, where they're like these virtual reality-based softcore flicks. I have no shame about it, you know? I like some sexy girls, and I like some sleazy entertainment, and their whole softcore line seems like the type of shit that I will thoroughly enjoy. And eventually we are going to be doing an alien-themed wave in the future, and, you know, these movies will fit in nicely with that once I eventually acquire the previous ones, like I mentioned. Unfortunately, they are out of stock on the Full Moon website, but like is usually the case with this stuff, they're priced very reasonably elsewhere, so I just got to put in the order and get them on the shelf. So moving into our loose ends here from the Grindhouse end of things, we've got our copy of Headless Eyes. Super fucking stoked to have this one in the collection. This is actually the main one that I wanted to watch out of that batch, if I'm honest, and it was a bummer that it didn't show up. Looks like a gory good time. I actually did pass out after putting it in one night when I was drunk, and the intro to it is pretty hilarious and disgusting, so I imagine the rest of the movie probably matches up to that. Basic gist of it seems to be that, like, this, you know, burglar slash rapist type guy ends up, like, getting his eyes scooped out with a spoon by one of the women that he's, like, trying to assault. So this enrages him, and he goes on this rampage through New York City, like, visiting, you know, twisted justice on the women and leaving a trail of blood and gore in his wake. And I just can't wait to actually check it out and review it when we eventually do a full Grindhouse wave. And then after that, we have the 2 films that I needed to complete the Jess Franco collection. First up, we've got the Marquis de Sade, aka The Portrait of Dorianna Gray. You guys familiar with that stuff know what's up there. Looks like a greasy good time. I'm not going to bother going through there and reading the description on that. A lot to unpack, I'm sure. And then we've got a copy of Voodoo Passion. So this completes, like I said, that Jess Franco collection, as far as at least the box set goes. It's not really a box set because it didn't come in a box, but now I can complete that fucking spine mural and finally get around to watching and reviewing all the films, as well as collecting the other Jess Franco releases that Full Moon has put out recently, because there's been several of them. As far as them snubbing me on the refunds, you know, I'm going to let it go for now. I am going to continue to try to get in touch with them, but if it happens again, I'm going to hound those motherfuckers by calling the offices and emailing them incessantly until they at least respond, because at this point it's a matter of principle. I love Full Moon, I love ordering from the website, but their customer service fucking sucks, and they really should do something about it. Overall, though, not a bad stack of films, especially considering the discount I got on account of the 4th of July sale. I believe all of them were only $7.50 a piece, with the exception of Beach Babes from Beyond Infinity and Femalian Cosmic Crush. So with the discount, they were actually only like whatever half of $7.50 is. I'm not doing fucking math right now. Either way, very pleased with it. You guys are going to check out the trailer for Beach Babes from Beyond. I think I just called it Beach Babes from Beyond Infinity. I don't know why. Either way, enjoy the trailer, and we'll see you back here in just a moment with that resin statue, baby.
Stallone.
Think about me.
Travolta.
I've never been called that before.
Estevez.
This is gnarly!
Swayze.
Yeah, how could I forget?
A galaxy of cameos like this could only be in one movie. Beach Babes from Beyond.
That was a UFO. I'd like to be abducted by alien space babes and have close encounters of the 69th kind.
The movie that poses the cosmic question, what would happen if aliens from outer space landed in the middle of a summer beach party?
God, I love California.
The aliens are coming. They're armed. They're dangerous. And they're wearing bikinis.
I want one of those. Could I get one of those too, please?
They're hot. They're sexy. And they're looking for Earthlings.
Who is that
Holy shit! You're a space babe! You got it.
If you think all extraterrestrials look like little green men, then see beach babes from beyond. The final frontiers of space have never looked better.
You're a beach babe from beyond?
That's your ass, dude.
Beach babes from beyond.
Alright, so with that out of the way, our resin statue for this segment is the Gingerweed Man himself. I figured it was only appropriate to finally grab this boy up, mainly because of the discount. He's not my favorite character as far as modern full moon characters go, but at only like $15 or $17.50 or whatever it cost with the 50% discount, I couldn't leave him behind. Because those of you guys that have followed the pickup segments know, I have, you know, Evil Bong and the Ginger Dead Man, and so I needed the Gingerweed Man to complete the set there. I've got a couple of gripes packaging-wise about this dude before we get into it. As far as the poster art that they include for, I guess, like the display side of the box, it's pretty adequate. It is Evil Bong 666, and I think that's the movie he debuted in. So that makes a lot of sense. You've got the statue portrait on the one side, and then you've got, of course, like a snippet of information about Gingerweed Man on the other side. But my main gripe is that they've fucking, like, just duplicated the statue portrait again on the next side, instead of, like, advertising for the other statues that they have, which just, you know, makes the packaging a little bit more interesting. Personally, though, my vote would have been to include custom artwork on this side in lieu of the statue portrait, so that it could be displayed in between the Evil Bong and the Ginger Dead Man one up there. If you look up there, the statue portraits, the artwork on them kind of like fits together seamlessly, so it makes one picture with both of the statues, or the boxes rather. It would have been really cool if they had the foresight to try to work, you know, Gingy in there, so that they could sit together as a trio, or at least the boxes, and look proper and seamless and all that. Minor gripe to be sure, but the major gripe when it comes to the packaging is the styrofoam. It's not a snug fit. If you guys remember when we unboxed the other statues, they were all very snug in there. You know, you basically had to open it and turn the motherfucker upside down and kind of shake them out or push them from the opposite end. It was a very snug fit, which made you feel very confident in them being shipped and arriving, like, undamaged. This dude bouncing around in there, as soon as I pulled it out of the box, like, my heart sunk, because you don't know if, like, just the shock of a sudden concussion could have snapped him off at the ankles, because when you see the statue, he is sturdily built, but his ankles are definitely a weak point. It's got a heavy base attached to them, and, you know, with him flopping back and forth like that, if the box got jarred really hard or something, it very easily could have snapped him off. Thankfully, that is not what went down. He arrived safe and sound, and he is pretty fucking magnificent. He's crafted in very much the same way as the Ginger Dead Man statue was. Nice heavy base on the bottom. He's just one solid piece of resin. It's not hollow or anything like that. Sculpted pretty nicely. He's screen accurate for the most part. He's got his nice raised little pot leaves on his belly and his chest there, and his belt and everything. Lots of good detail. Paint job is very adequate. I like how they did the same sort of thing that they did with the Jack Attack statue, where he's a little bit darker of a color than he is in the actual movies. He's more of like a darker olive green, so it makes him look kind of grungy, and I just absolutely love that shit. But like I said, man, those ankles are easily, you know, his weak point. That's where it's gonna break if this statue ever breaks, and they really should look into, like, doing a better job where the fucking styrofoam is concerned. I don't know why it's packed so loosely in there. Every other statue I've ordered from them was packed impeccably. I guess they give about as much of a shit about Gingerweed Man as I do. I definitely would not have paid full price for this guy. He was destined to be bought during a sale. But for the sake of completionism, I now have him, and I'm pretty fucking stoked on it. Fucking son of a bitch. I'm sorry if I'm sweating right now. I guess maybe talking so much about the possibility of the statue breaking had me nervous. I feel a huge sense of relief now that I've got him back in the box. Either way, though, this puts me one step closer to completing the Full Moon Resin statue collection. I believe as far as what they actually sell on the website now, the only ones that I need are like the Crack Whore one and the White Trash Dude. and then the Killjoy statues, and then, you know, Bride of the Head of the Family when they eventually release the statue along with the movie. So still some ground to cover where that's concerned. There is also some out-of-print ones that they retired out of fear of cancel culture, I'm sure. Mainly Ooga Booga. I don't know if I can say the other word without the video getting banned on YouTube. It's a slur for Asian people, unfortunately. But when you understand the statues in the context of the joke within the movie that they come from, yeah, they are racial caricatures, but the idea of it actually gets flipped on its head and the dude gets punished for making these racial caricatures. Which I think Hambo, the dude that makes the statues in the movie, his statue is actually available still on the website as well, so that's another one that I gotta get. But there's several that I still gotta buy. Thankfully, they're not too expensive. They are available for a bit of a markup. Like Ooga Booga, I think, costs like $70 to get the statue on eBay, which is unfortunate, but what can you do? You know, I've gotta get them so that I can complete the collection. And I'm sure people will think it's in bad taste, but bad taste is kind of what we do around here a lot of the time. Again, I would say just watch the movie before you judge them as simply being racist. I think that, you know, Charlie probably should have had the foresight to understand that most of the people into cancel culture and stuff aren't watching these kind of movies. I mean, what would they benefit from attacking some small studio like Full Moon? They're not going to get any clout doing it that way, so they're going to go for bigger targets. Either way, I'll start working on snagging up those retired statues once I've got all the ones that are officially available through the website, and then I'm going to start working on getting those puppet replicas in the very near future as well. So lots of cool, like, memorabilia that's going to be coming in here soon for you guys to peep, and I hope you're as excited for it as I am. Now, to close this bitch out, we've got to take a look at that apparel. Alright, so first up here we got the plain Full Moon Features logo tee. A decent quality t-shirt, to be sure. I kind of fucked up when I washed it the last time and didn't properly take care of it, so I need to hit it with like an iron after washing it and like hang drying it. But, you know, it's important to note that the Full Moon apparel does seem to come in like China sizes. So it's, if you get like a 2X, really it's like an extra large. So just keep that in mind when you're ordering this stuff, and it is going to shrink a little bit when you wash it. There's really no avoiding that to a certain point. You can take all the precautions to, you know, sidestep that little reality, and it is going to have a good beneficial effect, but you are going to have some shrinkage. It's cheap material, and it's already like a size too small, so plan ahead for that when you order the stuff. One of my favorite features of the shirt is that they've also got the logo on the sleeve, which is always a nice touch. Full cotton t-shirt, you know, the logo is printed on there nicely. Unfortunately, because of the way that it shrunk a bit on the last time that I washed it and didn't properly monitor that and all that, we did get some bubbling up of the print there, but I think that I can fix that with like some ironing and some hang drying, like I said. I am going to be purchasing another shirt that's probably like a 3X, because I knew about the sizes on account of my hoodie. The hoodie is probably the best quality piece of apparel that I've gotten from Full Moon, outside of this fucking beanie right here. The hoodie and the beanie are awesome. Even though the hoodie was like a size too small, it's, you know, just a snug fit, and if I lose some fucking weight, I'll be good where that's concerned. But I would like to get another t-shirt in a proper size, because I prefer loose fit t-shirts even when I am slimmed down, so it's just one of those things. I'd like to be able to just wash it, hang dry it, and iron it without worrying about the shrinkage too much. So just remember to overcompensate in terms of the size. But yeah, I mean, you know, it is what it is. It's just a plain logo tee, and it, you know, will definitely suit your plain logo tee needs. So, not too much else we can say about that. And then finally, we've got the Full Moon Features logo cap, or the trucker cap. You know, it's got a nice mesh back on there. It's got a strap back fastener on the back. And it is kind of a piece of shit, if I'm honest. It also came in China sizes, so it is definitely way too small for my head, unless I decide that I'm going to like shave off my luscious locks, and that's probably not going to be happening anytime soon. But for the sake of like collecting the merchandise, I'm glad that I have it. But I mean, it's super tiny. for me to even fit it on my head, I've got to, like, you know, fully pull this all the way out as far as it will go, and then it sits there off the back like all fucking droopy and lopsided. I do like that it's a trucker cap. I kind of prefer those to like Flex fits or whatever, just because it breathes a little bit and all that, but you know, it just could have been better crafted. When you look at the stitching too on the logo, like at a distance it looks fine. When you get right up on it, it's not that good. It's kind of jank. And the material here is almost like felt, so it picks up any little piece of lint or like cat hair or anything like that, and just it sticks right to it, and that's pretty fucking annoying as well. I think it was only like $15, and I'm going on record right now to say that I would have paid 25 or 30 bucks for like a quality trucker cap that was actually, like, you know, made with fucking US sizes in mind. I don't know, man. I mean, I can understand the shirts, but are like Asian people's skulls that much tinier than ours? That's strange. Not trying to be like problematic or anything. It's a genuine question, because this is like a child-size hat almost, you know. When you pull it down to where the strap back is like snug and it's uniform looking, it's got like fully that much fucking shit hanging off the end of it, you know. So it's like made for like a 7-year-old kid or something like that. I mean, just for scale, like my hand is wider than the skull cap portion of the hat, and that's, you know, you look at like my actual head, it just doesn't fucking work, man. So yeah, I don't know, if you ever see these, Charlie, invest in some better hats, and I'm sure that would probably be one of your best selling items. This beanie is magnificent, you know. It's a knit cap beanie. It feels good. It keeps my head nice and warm, sometimes too warm when I'm like drinking or getting a little nervous. I start to sweat a little bit. But it's a well-crafted beanie. The stitching on it is nice. You know, the tag here, the logo is printed nicely. It's just a quality fucking headpiece, you know. Whereas that is kind of embarrassing. It'll look cool. Eventually I'm considering getting like a mannequin and decking him out in full moon gear and then having him as like my co-host. And then maybe you guys that are viewing the show can decide on a name for him or something like that. I think that would be fun. You know, so that might be an addition to the full moon room eventually, and I'm sure I'll make use of the cap then. But I'm not going to shave my head to wear it, and honestly, stitching on that logo would make me kind of embarrassed to wear it in public anyways. But, you know, you never know until you try it. I could sort of tell that the stitching wasn't the best from the close-up pictures that they had on the website, but I'm on a mission to collect all of the merchandise that I can, and I needed that guy for the collection, so now we've got him. And that does it for our Freedumb Flix 4th of July full moon special. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. Hopefully you enjoyed our featured trailer, all the films that we got, all of our merchandise here. Not a bad little haul considering. Much bigger one coming in the future, so look forward to that. Be sure to check out our recent reviews on Shadow Zone, Pit and the Pendulum, and what the fuck did I just review? Oh yeah, Netherworld. How could I forget that? It's like one of my favorite full moon movies I've ever seen. Shame on you, Mosley. Either way, check those motherfuckers out. Be sure to get out there and check out the other films in our wave through Full Moon Streaming or Tubi TV. And we'll see you guys back here soon with our review for Mandroid. Cheers. Thanks for watching. As always, I have been Mosley. You've been a bunch of sexy fucking beasts. And this has been yet another episode of that full moon madness, baby.